Welcome back to the channel. All right, it's time for the spicy meter video on Chee'ilth, where we're going to go over everything you need to know to get started playing her, why we have her ranked as highly as we do on the tier list. We'll cover that at the end. Her special 1, her special 2, her special 3. What does it do? Does she recoil friendly? Her awakened ability, the whole thing. Now, there's not a ton to her kit. It's actually pretty simple, but it's incredibly well made, right? Let's go ahead and jump into this. We're going to be going over this fight here against the Winter Soldier on Realm of Legends. It's a great place to kind of start off, get things going. Now, Chee'ilth, one of the biggest mechanics you want to know about her is that purple passive in the upper left-hand corner. Kind of looks like a bit of a bear claw there with maybe a feather. It's called her Spirit Charge. You can get up to 10 of them. You can see that it is ticking down on its own, but there's some really, really cool things you can do to decrease the timer there, right? Well-timed blocks are going to decrease it by 5 seconds. And then if you punish a heavy or a special of the opponent, it's going to decrease it by 7. Those also play in exceptionally well to her playstyle and kind of like what you're already wanting to do to get her damage going. It's really, really nice. Here's some other benefits to this, though. You see the cleanses in the upper left-hand corner, right? We now have 8 of them. Every time the Spirit Charge timer, whatever it is, refreshes over, you're going to get 2 of those, which is awesome. Additionally, you're going to get a crit rating plus 15% bleed potency for every single Spirit Charge, right? Or Spirit Charge timer. So we have 5, that's increasing that by 15%. So multiply those together, I believe that is 75%. So our bleeds, which you can see are doing a significant amount of damage, are increasing a lot, right? Thanks to the Spirit Charge. Don't worry, we're gonna go over more and more how to play her, but this was a great fight to explain that basic mechanic, why we're wanting to punish specials, why we're wanting to punish heavy attacks, and those sorts of things. Now let's go ahead and move on to some other fights. Oh, and don't worry, I will show you fights in Battlegrounds and in War where I'm not doing that heavy punish thing. I know that's something that's get talked about a lot about. It is very beneficial. Do not get me wrong. I don't want to say it's not, but I'm going to show you that you can get tremendous damage without it. Now we're going up against this Rhino here, and I'm going to be showing you her SP1, which is going to give you the Grizzly Warrior, right? And the Grizzly's passive grit, and it's that kind of pinkish passive in the upper left-hand corner. The benefit of that is when opponents go unstoppable, they act as if they're not. It's very similar to Valkyrie and that sort of thing. The other thing you're seeing me do right now is you're seeing me use my own heavy attack to punish the specials and the heavy of the opponent. When you do that, it's going to add 2 bleeds by the heavy itself on top of the blade attacks, which do a bleed as well. And then it's also going to pause all the debuffs, all the bleeds. That's why you see us all the way up to 2021 right now. So she has a fantastic unstoppable counter. It lives on you. It doesn't live on the opponent and that sort of thing. They just act as if they were not unstoppable. If you see that come up, do not worry about it. You've got your Grizzly's grit there. That's just what grit does. And then the SP1, the other really nice thing about it is when you have the Grizzly's grit activated, all of your attacks, not just your blade attacks, have a 50% chance to place a bleed. So when you're just going for damage, if you're not concerned about the utility that will come off for SP2, you're just going to go for your SP1, get your Grizzly's grit going, which is great. It's nice. It's helpful. But what it really does is it's helping you get more and more bleeds going. Now, I wanted to answer the question right away. Is she recoil friendly? Because I thought, well, hey, she's got these cleanses. They start off on the fight, she's going to cleanse off her bleed and her poison. And I want to show you right now that is actually not the case. They do not cleanse the initial bleed and poison from the recoil tree. And the other thing is, does she have an SP3? Yes, the SP3 is actually great. And when we do our conclusion, kind of talk about her, I'll show it to you. But it's going to gain an indefinite 35% vicious passive, right? So all of our bleeds are going to get that much stronger, which is great. And it's indefinite. Plus, you're going to gain a 15-second regen buff, healing 50% of the health loss this particular fight. So if you lost a ton of health in one fight, that's a pretty good one. Or, and it's whichever's more, it's going to decide for you, basically. It'll do the calculation. Or 30% of missing health, whichever is greater. So that's really, really nice too. You saw the bleed come on. Now, I said I would show you war fights where I'm not punishing, right? Because I know that was one of the things that initially kind of had me concerned about her is, yeah, she's got this great heavy reach and it's phenomenal. It's going to help you pause the bleeds and all that stuff. But like, you know, I don't want to be too concerned about the animations, the spacing, all that stuff. So I just kind of want to play, you know, how's that going to work out? Well, here we go. We've got the hazard shift, shock, bleed, power focus, on this Mysterio, right? This is War here. We're in 4 BGs. We're often in Platinum 3, Platinum 4, so you give you kind of an idea. This is my rank 2 Chee'ilth versus a rank 2 Mysterio, tough defender on hazard shift. I have brought in the synergy with Hulk, and we'll go over the synergies later, but you can see that's why we start off with 5 of the cleanses. Also, you see me doing the well-timed blocks. I just wanted to get more cleanses going. You can see we're now up to 7 because remember, the well-timed blocks are going to decrease the amount of time on the spirit charge, right? And you can see our spirit charge is now at 1. So every blade attack we place is going to place those bleeds, and they're now going to be 15% stronger than they otherwise would have been. Plus, we have the 2 extra cleanses. Now we can kind of go to town, right? And you can see I'm doing the medium because that's her blade attack, right? And we've now got 4 bleeds. They're going strong. Like I told you, I'm not worried. I'm not worried about punishing a special or heavy with the heavy. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, that's great. There's fights where you're going to want to do it. But in my basic war, and I'm going to show you Battlegrounds fight too, I'm not doing it. And you can see, I'm just landing these. I'm not worried about it. I'm not sweating it. Don't worry about the passive evade on Mysterio. That had to do with the tactic, if I remember correctly. And Chee'ilth was attack. All that stuff doesn't matter. This fight, without those various war tactics, would not have either side of it. And you can just go in, and you can see, I'm parrying, I'm medium, over and over. That fight was done in 50 seconds. Platinum 4, Platinum 3-ish war. I don't remember where we were exactly at the time. Rank 2 Mysterio on hazard shift, just made to look simple, made to look easy by Chee'ilth. Now, this is Battlegrounds here, right? And you can see nothing's really adding to it, right? There's nothing going to be accentuating her damage tremendously or whatever. Going up against a rank 2 Void. I have a rank 2 Chee'ilth, so we're not punching down, we're not punching up, we're punching straight across. 314,000 health. I have not played Chee'ilth a ton, at least not enough to the point where I felt like I knew for sure the spacing on punishing Void's heavy or goodness, either of his specials with my own heavy. So as you can see, I'm just parrying and I'm essentially just comboing over and over. I'm doing my best to land as many blade attacks as I can. Once I get up my Grizzly's Grit Hair, right? Remember, that's going to increase your chance of all attacks to 50%. So even my light attacks now have a chance to land the bleeds. 50% is not bad on a 5-hit combo. I'm just working back up to my specials, getting the spirit time going. And right now, you know, we're 40 seconds into this fight. We've already taken 60% of his health. But because of the bleeds and the way they build up and the way she ramps, even over a very, very short fight, you can see we're going to finish this fight off, and it's not even going to take a full minute. It's not even going to take a full minute. We had to wait out a relatively long special. I didn't even go in attack. He's done. He's dead. Not punching up, not punching down, not ramping, not punishing heavies, not punishing any heavies with our own heavy. 50,000 score. She is very, very good. If you have one takeaway from this video, aside from her being excellent, it's that I want you to know is, especially in short or medium length fights, yeah, you want to punish specials. Yeah, you want to punish heavies because that's what you're doing anyway. But as far as you using your own heavy to punish those, to refresh the bleeds, I wouldn't worry about it. I wouldn't worry about it. If you know how to do it, great. And if you don't, you saw the results. War, Mysterio, Platinum 3, Platinum 4, tough defender on a hazard shift lane, done in 50 seconds. Not punching down, not punching up, Void, done in about 50 seconds, 50,000 score. The results can be fantastic. All right, now let's go ahead and take a look at her synergies and her awakened ability. Her awakened ability, does she need it? Absolutely not. Nothing you saw in this video was from her awakened ability. Her awakened ability, the first part, the green, right, the little target looking thing, that's just going to give her a critical rating if the opponent is immune to bleed. A lot of advanced Chee'ilth players I have talked to have said, like, look, at a low sig level, like, it's nice, don't get me wrong, but you're not wanting to take her into fights where the opponent's immune to bleed anyways. But at a high enough sig level, this starts to actually do some meaningful damage because these crit ratings will actually stack. These positions will stack. You see, they only last for 10 seconds, but as they start to grow, and you can see they get to relatively large numbers, it's not bad. So that's going to be a case-by-case basis. I would not throw my 7-star 6 stones into her though, right? But I think this is someone that if you pull multiple copies, you're not upset about it, all right? Then the other important part, and the really nice thing, and why you may want to consider this, is the blue part, the Sister Eagle, right, provides us new assistance. Very, very cool, very thematic stuff throughout her character and abilities. It's going to heal you back from damage dealt to Chee'ilth by physical damaging effects. Think of this like Korg's Thorns, okay? Now, the thing is, it's not all damaging effect back, so don't think it's going to be every single time there's an effect. She's not essentially a Namor replacement. Don't think of it that way. It does need to be physical, and even at SIG 200, it's still only going to be 90%. I do think it's really good. Again, I would not use 6 stones to get this, but if I'm pulling her multiple times, or like a lot of us in game are getting our free 7-star now, I'm very happy to have these extra SIG levels on her. Let's go ahead and check out her synergies. All right, this first synergy, I showed you this in the video. As you can see, it wasn't necessary. We didn't have to have it, but it did make the fight feel that much more safe, right? We could get into it a little bit more quickly. It's with the Hulks and the Sasquatch. It's basically all these Gamma champions. And she does get a bonus when fighting Gamma champions as well, too. As far as like her basic hit, she becomes more potent, the bleeds become more potent. And then her synergies when fighting a Gamma champion, if they've got this Gamma call out, also become more potent and stronger. Then here's this other one. These two are actually quite nice as far as when you're looking to use your heavy to punish, right? You can go unstoppable, you can go passively unstoppable or performing heavy, or you could go when blocking a heavy, become passively unstoppable. Both of these are going to help you out. And then she does have parts of her kit that mitigate potential damage sources as far as capping the attack rating of a champion based at where the fight started. So her kit is really well made. These synergies are helpful. None of them feel necessary, though, in any way, shape, or form to me. And then here's another one here with Kushala. This is really, really nice. Chee'ilth can have a 100% chance to block unblockable specials. Why she has 80 more cleanse passives. I think that's probably going to be situational. You can see how, especially if you bring along one of those Gamma synergies, you can get your cleanses going pretty darn fast. But then that means you're probably not wanting to use your cleanses. So I don't want to overstate this one. This feels pretty situational. There'll probably be times where this comes up or something like that where you're looking to utilize it. But aside from the fact that Kushala is just amazing, and I think she's fantastic to bring along on a quest anyway, this isn't a sole reason to bring along Kushala when you're going to be using your Chee'ilth in a quest. And then in September of 2024, this is literally where we have her on the tier list, right? It's a phenomenal tier list. Hopefully you're familiar with it. I mean, it's the one Kabam Crash even came on and said that he uses, gives to designers when they ask for one. And you can see how highly rated we have her. We've had her rated very highly for an incredibly long time. She's even excellent in long form content. As we talk about it a bit more, I'm going to show you the fight against Labyrinth of Legends Red Hulk. Just give her an idea of how much she can build up. In my playlist on my channel, which I will link in the description, there's a couple other guides on like how to play her from content creators I really like and respect. And the one I really want to point out, though, they're all great, but if you're looking to use her in long form, Better Steel used her for a ton of fights in Necropolis to the point where Chee'ilth actually even has the long form emoji on our tier list. Like, we've pointed that out because she was so phenomenal there, right? She's even got the bleed off of the SP3. And the one thing I just didn't show in this video, because due to time really, is her SP2 actually has a miss counter as well. It's not something that I find myself wanting to use as frequently with her. It also comes up with a Tranquilize, which is reducing the ability and accuracy of debuff to be put on you. In her basic playstyle, and I think a lot of the fights you're wanting to use her, I think you're using your SP1 more. It's helping you ramp up your damage. It's handling unstoppable. And then it's also getting the cleanses on you and things like that too, right? So, and it's helping you get more, the 50% chance for all attacks. For me, in using her for fights, long form SP3, basically going to SP1. And for some reason, I needed to use the miss. I went to the SP2. She's very, very good in war. She's incredibly tanky. She's great at questing for all the reasons we've already stated. And then that really powerful heal off the SP3 we already talked about. In Battlegrounds, she's a very reasonable attacker. We have her listed as a dual threat because she's also pretty tanky on the other side. Remember, it's not a purify, it's a cleanse. So even champions like Onslaught and things like that don't necessarily turn it off like they would. Champions are her purifying. Her bleeds as a defender can go through block, I believe, right? Yeah, that's what it is. And so she's a bit tricky. She's a bit of a nuisance. And as the SIG gets going, any of those extra red damage numbers, right? We talked about it, utilizing her on the offensive side, actually make her even more tanky on the defensive side because she's mitigating that damage. So that's where she is. Obviously, tune in every single month. We'll reflect if we feel like she's going to be going up, which I don't think will be happening, or if for some reason she starts to move down in the meta as more and more skilled champions come out, or the game starts to ask different things out of us via nodes or defenders. Let's go ahead and take this down, and then we will take a look at the Red Hulk showcase here while we finish off talking about her. Now, I don't believe the Labyrinth Red Hulk is tuned as a Gamma. It doesn't have that tag. So you're not going to see the plus damage that would be coming off it. But there's a couple of things I really wanted to point out to you. One is how much the vicious passive, remember, it's 35% off of the special 3. So if it's a longer form fight or something like that, you really are incentivized. You get a really nice bonus from going to that. The other thing is, and if a champion like Red Hulk, and there's a reason why so many of us show Red Hulk over and over. One, he's the first fight, but two, is his animations really help line up heavy punish, special punish, using our own heavy and things like that. Yeah, it's helpful to her, but I really want to make this clear. Look at the range. You just saw it on her heavy. It is insane. As you play her more, you're going to get more and more comfortable and confident in it. It does have 2 hits. And so sometimes what happens to me, and I think it happens in this fight as well, is I end up in this spot where I miss with the first hit, and the champion defender recovers before the second hit is able to come on. And because there's such a long reach, they're able to punish. So my advice would be just practice it, get used to it. You're going to really learn it. She's very tanky gal, right? We've already got up 10 of the cleanses. I do think he clips me with an SP1 at some point, or maybe there it is, right, literally right there. If he had landed a stun, which I don't remember if it's from his SP1 or his SP2 off the top of my head, but we would have just shrugged it. We would have cleansed it right away anyway. So she's really great for these sorts of things. She has one of those kits that for me is incredibly well constructed. It's very hard to mess up with her unless it's just a fight she's clearly not designed to take. With her SP2 and the Tranquilize, she can almost become debuff immune. And if you play her patiently enough with the Spirit Charge or Spirit Cleanses, and you take your time, you're going to get up enough cleanses of yourself where you're going to become relatively debuff immune too, as you saw in the Hazard Shift fight I took. And then you've seen the Vicious, you're seeing the Spirit Charge, how that is increasing our bleed damage too. All those things are working together. You're seeing these red numbers here. And you know, if Red Hulk had more life, we would continue to chip away at it at an exponentially faster and faster number. It's the getting up that initial ramp. But part of why I love her so much is that you saw in the smaller form or shorter form, Battlegrounds and War, she's got more than enough damage, 50,000 scores, not punching down. As usual, let me know what we think we got right. Let me know what we think we got wrong. If you're probably here because you just got your free Chee'ilth or you happen to pull her, congratulations. You got yourself a hell of a champion. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.